Okay, we'll move on to the next concept that is called interface. So what is interface? Interface is a collection of constants and method declarations. Interface is a collection of constants and method declarations. It is similar to class. What is class? Class is a collection of data variables and methods. So methods, what is that you are writing is you are writing definition. But here we don't write the definition, we write only method declaration. The implementation of the method can be written by the corresponding classes. What is the main usage? We'll see in detail with an example, real-time example we'll see. The thing that you have to define, remember is interface is a collection of constants and method declarations. So this is the concept which enables you to implement multiple inheritance in Java. See, multiple inheritance we were not able to do by using the concept of class, because class extends, class B extends or class C extends A comma B was not possible. The class cannot extend more than one. So that was not possible. But here by using the concept of interface, we can implement multiple inheritance, which was not possible by using the concept of class. See, the very important thing that you have to remember here is class contains variables. Interface contains constants. Class contains method definitions. Interface contains method declarations, not definitions. So now, how to define an interface is, the syntax for defining an interface is interface. Interface is the keyword. Interface name. Constants, method declarations. Only declarations you have to write. You should not write definitions. Okay. In Java 8, they have introduced a new interface concept where you can write definitions. But here at this point of time, normal Java till Java 7, there is no concept of writing method definitions inside of the interface. Interface contains only method declarations. Is that fine? So interface is a collection of constants and method declarations. So this is the syntax for defining an interface. For example, we'll see. Suppose interface student. Normally we don't use constants. Constants very rarely will use. Suppose int roll number is equal to 101. So I'll write a method. Suppose public void. I want to get the student details, get data. I should not write the definition. So how I can say that it is not definition? I am ending with semicolon. I don't have braces like this. Previous method definitions we wrote like this. This is called a definition where we don't put anything. We write the code here. Here we don't write the code. We just put like this, and this semicolon will be there. It is just a declaration. We are declaring that such a method is there in the interface. So what is the implementation of the method? It can be written by the corresponding things. Okay. So there are two usages of interface. Two usages or two things that you can do with interface. Extending an interface. Second one is implementing an interface. Is that right? So first we'll go to the first one. First one is extending an interface. So a class can extend an interface. What is that? A class can extend an interface. Once I tell the example of one class extending an interface, I'll tell you why this interface concept is needed. What is its purpose? So now a class can extend an interface. How a class can extend is, sorry. Really sorry. So this is first one, second one. First we'll discuss about implementing. So class can implement. Class cannot extend. Sorry. Class can implement an interface. First, we'll discuss about the implementation part. A class can implement an interface. How it can implement is class name implements interface 1, interface 2, and so on. You can implement any number of interfaces. This is the syntax. A class can implement an interface. Class name implements is the keyword. Implements is this keyword. Everything is small. Interface 1, interface 2, like this. You can have any number of interfaces. See, this is where you are going to implement multiple inheritance. Extends A comma B is not possible, but implements A comma B is possible. You can implement any number of interfaces. Because of this, you can implement multiple inheritance by using the concept of interface. Okay. Another very important point that you have to remember is a class that implements an interface must implement or must write the definition for all the methods in the interface. A interface is having suppose 7 methods. I need only one method. I cannot leave that one method. I cannot leave the rest of the 6, but at least I have to write the empty definition also. At least you have to write empty definition. You cannot implement an interface without defining one method. You cannot leave even single method. When a class is implementing an interface, it should implement all the methods in that interface. Okay. So now we'll see with an example. How we are going to do it. Okay. So first I create an interface. Suppose student. Okay. I write public void get data. Okay. So public void put data class, suppose student info implements student. Okay, here I'll write suppose roll number. I want to just get roll number and print roll number. I'll write the method public void get data. Okay, I'll initialize this roll number to something. Or you can read by using scanner class. The code gets more, and that's why I'm shortening. Public void put data. System.out.println roll number. Okay, as usual, you will create object for student info only in the main class. Suppose class. I'll write here class sample. Public static void main string args student info si is equal to new student info. I'll call si dot get data. I'll write si dot put data. Is that right? Is that right? So this is my interface. In my interface, I have declared two methods get data, put data. I'm ending with semicolon. That itself says that they are only declaration. So now if this class is implementing student, it should implement both these methods. If I don't write this definition, suppose I did not write put data, I'll get an error. Whenever a class is implementing an interface, it should implement all the methods in that interface. It should not leave even a single method. It should implement all the methods. If it is leaving even a single method, you are going to get error. Is that right? So that's what we are doing. So here we write we create the blueprint. In interface, we create blueprint. So through interface only, you are achieving abstraction, data abstraction. Okay. We are abstracting. How get data will be there, no one knows. Once they see an interface, They don't know what get data will be there until the class definition, how it is going to override. This is the way you are going to abstract. Already I told you. So encapsulation, how you are doing is by making the class data members as private and methods as public. Abstraction, how you can achieve is by using interface concept, where you define only the method declarations. You don't reveal the logic, what is there in the methods. Okay, how the logical thing is implemented. You are abstracting. So that is abstraction. Okay, I hope you understood this. Interface and a class implementing an interface. See, what is its main usage? Why I should do this? I can directly implement here itself. Why doing like this and then implementing? Why this nonsense and all? You may get it out. Okay. The thing is, see, for example, you have a MNC. You have an MNC in the USA. That is the main branch. Okay, and its sub branches are there in, suppose the sub branches are there in India and some other country. Suppose, for example, Japan. We'll take it Japan. Okay, so now you come here. So this company is having the client branches in different locations. Okay, now whenever it has to give away the salaries, it has to come from this organization only, the main branch which is situated in the USA. Now what happens is, the company, what it will do is, it will just put an interface int calculate salary. This is the method that they define, and they say the company in India, the taxes are totally different. The tax calculations are totally different, and the tax calculations in Japan are totally different. The tax calculations vary from one region to another region. So that's why what they say is, they don't define this method, but they say that there is a method which will tell you the monthly salary calculation of your company. You calculate and you return the amount, we will put it in your account. You calculate the total amount which is required for the salary implementation in your client branch. You tell the amount, this will be returned again to this one, and they will find out the amount and they will return it. So what they say is, according to your requirement, you can implement this method. That is the main usage of interface. They define a blueprint and they will give you, so that you can implement your own logic. You need not stick on with whatever they have defined. They did not define anything. It is your wish. But what they say is, this is for this purpose. This is for calculating salary. This is for printing the data. This is for getting the data. Like this, they just tell the task, but they don't tell how the logic should be implemented. The logic can be implemented on our own way. In your own way, in whichever way you want, you can implement your logical way of that thing. So that is called, that is the main usage of interface. Is that right? So this is about interface, and the main thing that you have to remember is, if a class is not implementing all the interfaces, you will get a error. So that is very important point. All the methods of an interface must be implemented. Okay. So now we'll go to the multiple inheritance, which was not possible. Okay, which was not possible. Okay. So now interface A. I'm not defining anything, for just convenience sake. Then interface B. So now I write a class C implements A comma B. So this is multiple inheritance. This is multiple inheritance, which was not possible by using the concept of class and object. So now I am acquiring the properties of two things and putting in one thing. Okay, but the important thing that you have to remember is, this is interface, and this is interface, and this is class. So this will implement this. It implements B and it implements A. Okay, like this you can implement multiple inheritance in Java. Purely by using class and object concept, you cannot implement multiple inheritance in Java, because extends A comma B is not allowed. But implements A comma B is allowed, so that's why we use the concept of interface and we implement multiple inheritance in Java. So multiple inheritance in Java is achieved by using the concept of interface. I hope this is fine. Similarly, if you go for other inheritances, hybrid inheritance, combination and all, you need to just define which is interface and which is class. Like that you have to do. Is that right? We'll see later. So now this is thing. The second one is extending an interface. Extending an interface. How you can extend an interface? So the thing is, an interface can extend another interface. An interface can extend another interface. A class can implement, but one interface can extend another interface. Similar way how we are doing with class. So class is extending another one. So what happens when a class extends another class? It acquires the properties. Similarly, an interface also will acquire the properties. So for example, the same keyword extends is used. A. Suppose I'll write public void get data is the method that I have declared in interface A. I'll write interface B extends A. Here also only one is possible. Extends A. Okay, now I'll write public void put data. Okay, even though you have any interfaces, if you don't have a corresponding class which is implementing the interface, then there is no usage. If I don't have a class which is implementing the interface, then there is no usage of such an interface. It just looks like a toy, no usage of it. It should be used. If I want to use it, I should write a class. Suppose C implements B. Okay, now see, this is inheriting this one. So this method will come here. This method will be here also because it is inheriting. So now when I implement B, I should implement both get data and put data. If I don't implement both, I'll get an error because this method is acquired from here to here. Interface B is acquiring the properties of interface A. So I get the method from A to here, and whenever a class is implementing this interface, it should implement both these methods. So I should write the definition for both the methods. So I write public void get data. I write the definition for it. Similarly, public void put data. For both the things I have to write. If I don't write for anyone, then there is no usage. So right. Previously, what we did implements A, B, both we have implemented here. If you implement B itself, it is sufficient. So this is how you are going to extend an interface. An interface can extend another interface. A class can implement an interface. An interface cannot implement an interface. An interface can never implement an interface. It's not possible because interface we don't write the definitions. What is the main purpose of implementing? You are writing definitions for the method declarations. In interface, I cannot write the definition. So that's why an interface can never implement an interface. So this is about interface extending and implementing. See, there is something called hybrid inheritance, which is a combination of different things. You can write like this: A, B, C, the different type of inheritance. So this is one type. You can have any combinations. So this is called hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance. That is like this I am defining. Like this I am defining. Okay. So now I have combined all the things. If you see here, it is single inheritance. It is single inheritance. If you see like this, it is, what is it? Hierarchical inheritance. And if you go like this, it becomes multi-level inheritance, and if you go like this, it is multiple inheritance. It is a combination of all the inheritances. So now the thing is, now basic problem is, you obviously this will be class. The last one will be class. There is no doubt. Now you see here, this is multiple inheritance. From both the things, I should get D. So by using class concept, it is not possible. So this must be interface. And this must be interface. Okay, now this is extending this one. So obviously this also must be interface. So here it extends, interface B extends A. Similarly, interface C extends A. And class D implements interface C. It is going to implements, and it is going to implement. So this is how you can implement hybrid inheritance in Java. We did not discuss before because it is not possible without using the concept of interface. Without using the concept of interface, it is not possible because your multiple inheritance is going to come into the figure. Is that right? So this is how you can implement hybrid inheritance by using the concept of interface and class. Is that right? So this is about the concept of interface, and by using interface only we are going to implement multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance. Okay. The main thing is interface only contains constant variables and these things. I cannot have an interface with a normal variable. I cannot have an interface student, suppose with a normal variable. I cannot define a normal variable. It must be initialized. It must be initialized. If it is not initialized, it is an error, and it is a constant. It is a constant. Its value cannot be changed. Is that right? So that is about interface. That is about interface.